That's right. Blue core gang. Let's go. Got core in 260 G tokens worth, which I'd say is worth it. I think that, okay, this shouldn't be a controversial statement. It's not at all, but he's very good. And there seem to be many doubters about him, which is to be expected. There's always doubters, but this guy he's something else. I'm still kind of figuring him out, not gonna lie. And you can see me kind of testing some stuff in this video, which I'll talk about it more when I get there. But I did not really utilize any of Core's like tanking abilities, because he has the ability to just not get broken. Not even just him. Similar to Yang, he has the ability to not let your team get broken. That and additional attacks are the only thing that he has in common with Yang. But it functions so differently, especially those consecutive attacks. Because with Yang, you just pop that LD and no matter what you do, he's doing follow-up attacks. But with Core, it's different. You link Core with one person on your team. It gives the person you select a 6-turn buff with which Core will not follow up but actually lead in with the attack. He will attack before whoever you select for 6 turns. Now that buff does wear out, and you can take advantage of it in burst sequences. You're not seeing it here because this was a 0 turns run and you have to burst with Noctis right away for that to happen. So we don't really see it here, but I tested it in the chaos of this in Whale's burst, and yeah, you can take advantage of it in the burst. And what I was wondering about, the buff does not wear out in the burst. If you start at it with 6 turns, it'll stay for 6 turns, and then you'll have 6 more turns when you get out. So that's great. So, and he's actually better with Terra than I thought he would be, because Terra can keep extending that buff that Core puts on her. It's not as mindless as you just throw up the Yang LD buff and keep going. You do have to keep track of it a little bit, and it will eventually wear out. That's just inevitable. And as far as the Setzer comparisons, I keep hearing, Core is a Setzer Yang, and he's not at all. He functions completely differently than both of those characters. But as far as Setzer goes, the comparison there, the only similarity I really see is that Core has rainbow numbers when he uses his HP attack. How it works, at least from what I gather. Oh, and by the way, there's a good possibility some of this information I'm giving here isn't entirely correct. I'm just telling you what I've observed from what I've done with Core, which is very little. So I still have plenty to learn. Don't take what I'm saying like it's gospel. Do your own research. I'm just saying what I know from what I've seen here. As far as the rainbow numbers, I'm pretty sure you have to spend Core's HP attack when his overhead is at 10, which is cool because it's a lethal attack, but then it gets rid of all the stacks on the overhead buff, which is where a lot of his party auras and stuff come from. In fact, I think it's where they all come from, if I'm not mistaken. So yes, you can do that, but then he loses that 10 stacks, which is not good for certain comps. I mean, for comps where Core's going to be taking a lot of turns, I think that's okay, but in comps like this where he took a few, but not as many as, say, like Tifa, I just wanted to keep that buff up for as long as possible. So you don't see any rainbow numbers in this run, and that's fine. We ended up not needing them. I just wanted to keep the overhead on. Maybe that wasn't the optimal play, but again, I'm still learning here, just like the rest of you. One thing I was hoping we could do is, I think you saw me try it, I linked up with Noctis. Yeah, see, I'm switching back to Tifa now. I linked up with Noctis a second ago instead of Tifa, because I wasn't sure if with Noctis's burst effect active, you know how he follows up after anybody does anything. I wasn't sure if, say, Tifa would attack, and then, because Core is linked with Noctis, then Core would attack, then Noctis would attack because Core is linked with Noctis, but it doesn't work that way. He only follows up with the person he's linked to if it's their turn. So you can't just like link with Noctis, have Noctis follow up, then have Core go if it's not Noctis's turn. So again, I was just kind of testing stuff out. So again, I haven't tried it, but I imagine it's the same way with Yang. I don't think that Core can just link up with Yang and then have follow-ups with Yang that you don't have to worry about. Because if you think about it, it's a buff on an ally. So that buff needs to go down, unless you're in the burst, of course. for Core's additional attacks to actually happen. So it makes sense why it didn't work that way. Okay, we are in a position where we can summon. You see, I spammed a bunch of battle cries a second ago so that Core could just keep going after Tifa was doing her thing, and then Noctis could keep going as well. That's why he's already half dead, and we haven't even brought in the friend support yet, which I think we're gonna do, not now, but okay, we got two LDs, we put all that work in. It was fun dusting Noctis off. I figured with him being synergy again, I might as well just do it. The last 0 turns run I did was Kais's Lost Chapter, so it's been a minute. But with him being synergy again with this surprise event, I figured I'd just bring him. Yeah, Noctis with synergy stats is pretty sweet, because otherwise, dude needs a lot of help. My god. The Pandemonium summon is because I forgot to switch it. I honestly probably should have brought something like, I don't know, maybe Odin or Ramu or something, but Pandemonium didn't really help here at all. I should have used a different summon, but I didn't think about it. I just kind of, you know what happened? I found this other Noctis, which I very rarely have other Noctis friends available. And I'm like, you know what, with Noctis being synergy, and there's a Noctis friend, I'll just give the 0 turns a go. And this one wasn't hard to pull off at all, I'll be honest with you. The Noctis synergy stats help a lot for getting the 0 turns. So that's what we did. Okay, let's get these follow-ups going. Beautiful. So the sword is dead. We no longer have to worry about the sword. In retrospect, I probably could have waited on the Core follow-ups at the beginning of the fight. I keep saying follow-ups even though he attacks first. You know what I mean. I probably could have went in with the Core EX, because what that does is that's where he gets the buff, if I'm not mistaken. That's where he gets the buff that prevents breaks for your team. So I could have done that and probably avoided that break that Tifa took at the beginning of the fight. Probably got the score a little bit higher, and then just went in with the follow-ups later, but I got too eager. I figured Tifa could just take the break and we could just keep going, so it worked out, but could have done this breakless if I would have done it that way, but hey, is what it is. So because we have Warp Step around, you'll see I'm using Beat Rush with Tifa a lot more than I normally would. Because normally I don't like to use it because it uses turns. That's why I usually spam battle cries, but with Noctis around, we don't have to worry about that. So we're about ready to seal the deal. Okay, we have one more LD left, but the whole team has 1 turn left of Warp Step, so we can pop this EX first. Beautiful. So there we go. This means everybody else can... Oh, we got an LD left? Hell yeah, we're going to use this. Absolutely. Not the best launch because there's no battery, but well, like almost a million. Okay, that wasn't horrible. We're going to link up with Tifa one more time. Noctis follows up. We have one more LD. We might as well just use it. And see, we had another we had our Noctis coming back with Warp Step on still and an LD left. So, even if we didn't kill him in time, it would have been fine. Bam. Okay. That was pretty painless. Thoughts on Core? He's very good. And he works in many other comps, not just rushdown stuff like this one. Core is just an all-around great character. Whether you want to rush stuff down or whether you want to play it safe, Core's got your back. Thanks for watching.